guys, so today we're going to teach you how to make the sugar propellant rackets. So we're going to go through the fuel grain creation today. Your main ingredients are going to be powdered sugar, which you can get from pretty much any grocery store, and also the stump remover, which is the 100% potassium nitrate. And it's actually really easy to use if you get this brand because it's already ground down just like the powdered sugar, so that way you don't have to worry about doing any coffee grind or anything like that for mixing. Also, you're going to need a type of cardboard tube. So I've got something small here that I got off a wrapping paper at Michael's. And then also you're going to want your coring tools, which are just like your dowels, your wooden rods, and what that's going to do is basically put a hole in the grain. That way you get faster burn rate. And so I've already taken the liberty to cut some of those down in a couple sizes here. And also I've got the items set up over here. What I've got is a skillet. It's got an electronic control over here on the right, and I'm going to set that to 380 degrees. If you don't have something like that, it's not going to be that big a deal. You're just going to want to kind of put it on medium heat, and the biggest thing you're going to look out for is caramelization of the sugar propellant. So I've already pre-set these quantities up. This is my powdered sugar, and this is my potassium nitrate. As you can see, it's already, ground down pretty well, and the powdered sugar is going to be good for mixing too. Got a small little spatula here, and so the ratios that we're going to set these up at, there's a lot of discussion online, but in general you're going to want to do a 65% of your potassium nitrate and a 35% of your powdered sugar, and it's by mass. You can do it by weight if you do some adjustment, but yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and set my temperature to 380 or so degrees, and I've got my potassium nitrate and my sugar dumped here in the skillet, so that's going to cook down. But what you also need is a cup of water here. What this is going to do is basically going to dissolve the sugar, and the reason that you need it to dissolve the sugar is because you basically want to coat the potassium nitrate granules with the sugar. So pour a little bit in there, and you're basically going to cook this down. So make sure you get all the material as well. And also, I didn't mention this before, but do this outside, just because you're going to get a little bit of gas release here, and don't really want to breathe those in. It's not going to be too dangerous just because of the quantities that you're using. Okay, so like I said, just be careful. The gases are going to come off here. You don't really want those. If you look closely, you can kind of see everything starting to break up here. Basically just boiling off all that excess water, but you've got all the chemicals inside of that, and you'll start to see it almost brown up a little bit once you get towards the end here. So I'm going to let that cook for a little bit and get back to you guys. So as you can see, there's some gases coming off here. Starting to bake down. I had a little bit too much water in there to begin with. That's okay, it's just going to bake off and keep the temperature. You can kind of see at the top here if I get close enough, maybe not. There's a little bit of brownness, so that's what you want to avoid when it starts getting like a paste-like structure, just because that caramelization is not going to be ideal for you. But I mean, it's not that big a deal right now. It's your first batch, you can keep trying a couple times. Also, one thing I did fail to mention is when you're casting this, so I already have this little piece of tube here. I kind of got it set up so I can put it on the ground, and what I'm going to do is basically take my spatula, scoop this stuff up, and then put it in there as a paste, and I'm going to use that dowel to actually pack it in there because you don't want any air pockets. Air pockets will actually cause you to get many explosions in your fuel grain, and you're not going to get a very consistent burn. So we'll show that in just a couple minutes. Just keep cooking this guy down. Remember, try not to breathe this stuff when you're working with it. Oh yeah, Look at that right there. It's looking good. Just get that last little bit of water out. Yeah, see that consistency right there? That's what we want.
Seriously, where is my...
And this is Josh interrupting me, of course. We all know Josh. Please say hi to Josh in the audience when you watch this video. Just bring that to the light. Yeah, that looks very well mixed. So remember, we don't want to get too brown. We just want to make sure we get all of that excess water content. So it's going to be kind of a judgment call here on when you put this inside the tube. But as you can see, it's very, very sticky. And I hope that shows up well on the camera. Basically like a gel almost. So you can still hear it cooking off a little bit of water. Alright, I think we're gonna throw this guy in the mold here. It's starting to get a little tough. So get your mold set up, let that kind of cook on the side. I've got mine set up over here. Remember this little tube I showed you? So I'm gonna set that guy on the ground right there. I hope that's on camera. Yep. And let's move everything over a little bit. Let's move this plate. Got my dowels set up. Oops. A little windy. Let's take some of this. Let's turn that heat maybe off so we don't keep cooking. And yeah, pretty much take some here, and you're pretty much going to set that in your mold and just kind of force that down there. Might be hot, so just be careful. So do some of that, get some more in there. Now, while you're doing this, just remember to take your dowels and you're gonna pack these. So I got the larger one here and just kind of push it down. Remember, you want to get rid of all those air bubbles. So let's see. Go over here. Kind of get that camera down in there. Might be able to see it, but pretty much you're just packing that in there. So do some of that, and then keep repeating. So drop some more in there. Drop some more. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put my coring tool before I get too much in there. So my coring one is actually the smaller one here. So I'm going to set that all the way through, and I'm going to pack around it if I can. Okay, let's get some more in there. So this one's going to burn pretty well. You can see some caramelization on the side there, which isn't ideal, but in small quantities I think it'll work for our purposes. So let's just get the last bit off of this thing before we finish here. So let's take that. Just kind of pack that in there as best you can. Yeah, don't breathe that. Do you see it? so that batch looks okay.